Have you played Bloody Roar? No, I don't think so. That's a console fighting game, and at that time, we used to kind of make fun of console fighting games, to be honest. I remember that time. I remember that's part of the reason why DOA was never really that... you gotta keep in mind, this is all about what your local clique was like, right? And at the time, I played at Southern Hills Golfland. So, at Southern Hills Golfland, for the most part, it felt like if they didn't have the game sucked. That's just how everyone's attitude was. I know it's probably like, you know, like triggering you guys, or you guys are all activating your V-Trig, right? But that's just the way it was, man. If Southern Hills doesn't have it, it's fucking trash, you know? And they definitely didn't have fucking DOA or any of that garbage, you know? Mortal Kombat was the bomb back in the day. Yeah, Mortal Kombat was cool. But this wasn't that long ago. When I'm talking about Southern Hills, I started going to Southern Hills Golfland in 2003. That was like around the era of Tekken 4 had been on console for about 6 months to a year, and Soul Calibur 2 had just been released on arcades. Around that time, I had been to Southern Hills Golfland before that, but around that time, that's when I became a regular. And I had just gotten my driver's license and my first car too. So I didn't have school. I was like 16 years old. I had already taken the California High School Proficiency exam, so I already had my high school diploma, and I just drove to Southern Hills Golfland every single day. Every day. I was there by 2 o'clock. If you were there before 2, no one was there. But around 2 o'clock, that's when everyone started coming in. And I went there all the time. Every day I played Soul Calibur 2. And while I waited for that game, I played Third Strike and Marvel 2 and CVS 2 and Tekken 4. They didn't have Tekken Tag 1 on a marquee cabinet. It was all the way in the corner and no one played it at that time. And you know your beloved Combo Friend, right? You know the legend Combo Fiend. At that time, Combo Fiend had a monstrous afro. The afro was so big on Combo Fiend's head that you couldn't see the arcade machine he was playing on. It was the biggest afro ever. And he used to kick the shit out of everyone. He was really good at Marvel 2. When I first started coming on the scene, Combo Fiend, man, he was dominating. Iron Man combos. He was good. Big ass fucking afro. Huge. Coming on the scene. Fucking Beavis and Butthead. Let's go level up. Yeah, those were the good old days, man. I didn't care about anything. I didn't even know what responsibility was. I just knew, put gas in your car and go to Golfland. It was just so much fun. The atmosphere was so good too, because no matter what game, like literally anywhere in Southern California, right? It doesn't matter what arcade you went to. No matter what game you play, Southern Hills had the best players. That's it. There's no arguing. Anyone else who had anything else to say about it, they would show up and get their shit pushed in. And that was the end of that. I mean, it was like Southern Hills Golfland was the best arcade. The most skilled players for every fucking game in the entire SoCal region was at this arcade. And it didn't matter what you played. You know, the guys, like, dude, the guys that were there, Clockwork was one of the first guys I ever even talked to. He was super nice to me. Holy shit.
Love watching your stream. You are the only streamer I can watch all day. Here's a month's worth of hot dogs.
Wow. Green Jester. That's only really like a week's worth of hot dogs, but that's neither here nor there. Did you hear that They were giving them away for 25 cents each at Fry's today. Listen, that's off topic. Thanks very much, Green Jester. That's really kind of you. The smackaroos are out of control tonight. Everybody loves Big Friday. Thanks, man. Did you play casual games in the arcades like House of the Dead? Of course I did. Hey, thank you again, Green. Jesus. That's super nice. Muchos Garcias. Yeah, of course I did. House of the Dead, Area 51, Virtua Cop 1 and 2. I also played House of the Dead 2. My favorite was Time Crisis 1. Time Crisis 2, everyone liked it, but dude, fucking Time Crisis 2 has co-op. Co-op's for casuals, man. Time Crisis 1 was the best. Just fucking solo. Thanks again, Green Jester. What else? Nah, Silent Scope was trash, dude. It was alright, but that game was whatever. It was a gimmick. The real games were the old school ones. Lethal Enforcers. Player 1. I also liked a lot of the old fighting games, too. The old weird ones, like Children of the Atom and fucking weird-ass games, right? Killer Instinct, that was a weird one too. Killer Instinct was a weird game because you never really heard of tournaments for it. But it was at Southern Hills and people were good at it. Mr. Wizard was really good at Killer Instinct. And so was Castell, the guy who originally owned, I don't even know, maybe he still owns Tekken Zaibatsu. But yeah, Castell was really good at Killer Instinct. What other games did they have? Oh, they had that game, The Grid. A lot of people played that. The Grid. But that's like, you know, we're talking 2003 right now. But if you guys want to talk about old school arcade games, that I didn't go to Southern Hills. I went to different arcades. I went to the Malibu Grand Prix off the 60 freeway in the City of Industry, which is now a speed zone. But at that time, it was called the Malibu Grand Prix Showboat. And there was a giant boat off the freeway, off the 60 freeway. I used to go there all the time. And also the Tilt in the West Covina, no, sorry, in the Puente Hills Mall. I used to go there all the time too. And they had a lot of those old SNK fighting games that I liked, like World Heroes, and those old like Samurai Showdowns. I was so young, I had no concept of strategy. You know, I was just playing them. But I really enjoyed a lot of those old SNK multi-game, you know, Metal Slug and Rampage. Remember Rampage? The original one? Those were really cool. But maybe that wasn't SNK. I don't remember. What else? I can't remember. It's such a long time ago. I mean, we're talking, I must have been less than, I don't know, around maybe 10 years old? Less than 10 years old. Pinball was so popular at that time. Pinball was huge. Addams Family, the pinball game, came out and it was a hit. Terminator 2, the pinball game, was crazy popular. King of Fighters 98 was cool, but I didn't like any of the other ones. But that's also later on. King of Fighters 98 was later on. This is before 98. This is like... yeah, or maybe around 98, like 97, 96, 95, or even before that. Because I was in the 4th grade in 1994, and that's around what I'm talking about. 3rd grade, 4th grade. That's how old I was when I was going to those arcades. I grew up in Southern California, but my parents, I didn't like Disney. They used to always be like, you don't want to go to Disneyland? And I was like, yeah, I just didn't like Disney. Mickey Mouse is a fucking puss, man. Where's all the dynamite? You know what I mean? Where's the dynamite? So I just went to the arcades instead of going to like Disneyland or the beach or the lab. You know?